The Indiana Fever just obliterated the Las Vegas Aces, 81-54. Let that sink in. That's not just a win. That's a public execution on national television, and they did it without Caitlin Clark on the court. Let me say that again for the folks in the back. Caitlin Clark didn't play, and yet the Fever didn't just win. They demolished the defending champions like they were scrimmaging a junior varsity team. So here's our first big question. How do you explain that the most stacked team in WNBA history got absolutely embarrassed by a franchise that hasn't beaten them since 2019, and did it without their biggest star? Alright, let's get to the game. 81-54. It was a crushing, it was an absolute drubbing by the Indiana Fever. I mean, they really put it on. Right here, you can say 24 points in the first half for the Aces. I mean, seriously, for the Aces. Points in the paint, 38-20. I mean, it was a dominant win by the Indiana Fever. The Las Vegas Aces rolled into this game with all the hype in the world. A'ja Wilson dropped 29, and still, it didn't matter, because no one else, literally no one else, showed up. Jackie Young, 6 points. Kelsey Plum, ghosted. Chelsea Gray, still out injured. And the rest of that so-called championship core might as well have stayed on the bus. Carolyn Peck didn't hold back either. 3 quarters of trash. That's not a hot take, and that's a diagnosis. What happened to that legendary Aces defense, huh? Or are we finally seeing what happens when a team built on marketing slogans actually has to play 4 quarters of real basketball? And while A'ja did her part, the rest of the roster, 7 for 43 from the field, that's not shooting, that's sabotage. Kelsey Mitchell, cold-blooded. 25 points, 6 assists. That's now 5 straight games with 20-plus points. Aaliyah Boston, dominant. 20 points, 7 boards, owning the paint and giving A'ja Wilson everything she could handle. And don't sleep on Natasha Howard. 11 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and Ari McDonald. 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and more hustle than half the league combined. Let's not forget Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull. Sophie had 2 points, just 2. But that steal and layup in the third quarter shut down Vegas's only real push. And Lexi dropped a bomb from deep right as the Aces tried to spark a comeback. So let's ask again. How is it that players making a fraction of Wilson's endorsement deals are out-hustling, out-defending, and outplaying the so-called super team? Let's just get right here. I said, you gotta have 2 of the big 3. And we got that. Kelsey Mitchell, an absolute beast. 28 minutes, 9 of 18, 50%, 25 points. Aaliyah Boston, 9 of 13, 69% from the field. 20 points, 7 boards right there. Natasha Howard, a sneaky double-double. A sneaky 50%, 11 points, 10 boards, 3 assists. And guys, I'm going to tell you, Sophie Cunningham, she only had 2 points. She had a very, very big steal. The Aces tried to put a little run together to start the third quarter, and Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull shut that shit down. They shut it down by hitting some big shots. Alright, that steal led to the only 2 points that Sophie Cunningham had. Even off the court, Caitlin Clark was the center of gravity, cheering, coaching, hyping up teammates, and yeah, ESPN's cameras knew where to point, because even when she's injured, she moves the needle. The crowd came to see her. She didn't play. They still showed up. How many players in this league can sit on the bench and still outsell the rest of the WNBA's brand combined? Now, let's talk about something even more embarrassing than Vegas's shooting percentage. The media meltdown over Candace Parker. Candace Parker and Cheryl Miller, 2 certified basketball legends, praised Caitlin Clark. They didn't trash Angel Reese. They didn't start any drama. They just told the truth. Candace called Clark generational. Cheryl called her a hooper. That's it. And the reaction? Total meltdown. Fans calling for Parker to lose her credentials. Social media mobs labeling her a traitor. Since when did saying a rookie is good become a fireable offense? When did defending talent become a crime in women's basketball? Let's be crystal clear. Candace Parker is basketball. Her brother played in the NBA. She's a multiple-time champ. And Cheryl Miller, Reggie Miller's sister, and many say the better player. These women know hoops. So why are they being attacked by people who can't even name 5 players from the 2010s? But if you guys didn't see Candace Parker in this whole thing, they turned on her because Candace Parker and Cheryl Miller, they are talking about, like, basketball, and they were like, you know what, Caitlin's a hooper, she's fun to watch, she's a generational talent. And Cheryl Miller just goes, and Candace Parker, obviously, because when she talks about Caitlin, she talks about Caitlin the same conversation as herself. Elena Deladon, Brittany Griner, AJ Wilson, Stewie, she talks about Caitlin in that regard, and Cheryl Miller just goes, and Angel's a player, she wants to win, she's developing, she's getting there, which is true. Angel Reese has improved quite a lot this season, from start to finish. I think she disimproved, she got worse and unrivaled, and I think it's taken time for her to reacclimatize herself to 5v5 basketball, but she's gotten better. This version of Angel Reese we've had in the last couple of weeks, has been the best version of Angel Reese there's ever been. And here's where the whole narrative collapses in on itself. The same people calling Caitlin Clark overrated are the ones pretending Angel Reese is above criticism. Despite missing 3 wide-open layups in the final minutes of a winnable game. Meanwhile, Clark gets called Apple turnover for 2 bad possessions, even after dropping 30. Why is Clark held to MVP standards while others get participation trophies? Oh, and for the record, Candace Parker agreed with fair criticism. She literally said players should be treated like NBA players. That includes memes. That includes jokes. That includes accountability. So the real issue isn't about what she said. It's that she refused to join the hate parade against Caitlin Clark. Back to basketball. This was the best Fever performance of the season. The offense clicked. The defense was stifling. Stephanie White actually coached her tail off. She even got teed up in the 4th quarter. And Clark was loving it. That's called fire. That's called leadership. And guess what? This team isn't just Caitlin and the rest. It's Kelsey, Aaliyah, Natasha, Ari, Lexi, Sophie, all balling out. And when Caitlin returns, this becomes a legit title threat. But instead of celebrating that, people want to twist it into, see, they don't need Clark. Really? We're blaming a top 5 assist leader for being too ball dominant now. We're mad because she creates shots. That is the best thing I've seen from Stephanie White all year. This was her best coach game, I believe. Because the offense looked good tonight. Yeah, the defense looked good. But this was a game where the offense looked like they had their shit together. And look, guys, things get a lot better when you shoot this well from the field. It's a big deal. By the way, Erin McDonald, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Had a block shot and 8 points. She's a firecracker, folks. She's an absolute firecracker. This was a good game. Asia Wilson dropped 29. Great. But Carolyn Peck said it best. They busted our ass in every kind of way. That wasn't just a loss. It was a collapse. And Becky Hammond, furious. She called her team 3 steps behind. They couldn't handle Indiana's physicality. They couldn't finish through contact. They missed layups like it was a shooting drill gone wrong. So tell me, how long until we stop blaming refs and start questioning whether the Aces just aren't that team anymore? While everyone's still stuck on the Clark versus Reese soap opera, they're missing the real battles brewing. Kelsey Mitchell versus the league's disrespect. Aaliyah Boston versus every front court in the WNBA. Candace Parker versus the cancel culture mob. And yes, Caitlin Clark versus the entire marketing machine that would rather sabotage her than admit she's carrying this league on her back. When Caitlin's Kobe PEs dropped, they sold out in under 60 seconds. Wilson's custom-crafted, Malia Obama-approved, deeply personal kicks, bound for the clearance rack. Nike finally woke up, but only after ignoring Clark for a year while dumping millions into the wrong horse. Now they're playing catch-up while the rest of the world already crowned her the future. So how much longer can the league pretend Clark isn't the biggest thing to happen to women's basketball since Cheryl Miller herself? Just like in 2016, when Kobe started the All-Star game. Just like in other years, there are years where there are things bigger than basketball. There are things bigger than basketball. And let's be real. Let's be real. This entire situation when it comes to these players is not to do with basketball, because Candace Parker is a basketball player. Now look, I'll disagree with some Candace Parker takes. I'll agree with some Candace Parker takes. But at the end of the day, it's basketball. She is a basketball person. And I don't think anyone will question her. You've seen her on NBA TV. You've seen her talk ball. You can tell Candace Parker is a basketball person, whereas a lot of WNBA media are not basketball people. And the scary thing is a lot of WNBA players don't seem to be fans of basketball. Is it the ratings, the revenue, the crowd showing up in Clark jerseys? Or is it the idea that everything they thought they understood about building stars, narratives, and rivalries was wrong? The Fever didn't just beat the Aces. They exposed a lot more than just poor shooting and lazy defense. And Candace Parker didn't just defend Clark, she defended the very soul of competitive basketball. So now it's time for the WNBA to choose. Do you want to be taken seriously? Do you want real rivalries, real fans, and real money? Then treat your stars like stars, even if they don't fit the narrative, because the revolution is here, and it's wearing number 22. And that's going to do it for today's breakdown. The Indiana Fever made a statement. Candace Parker stood her ground. And Caitlin Clark, she didn't even play, and somehow still managed to dominate the conversation. The truth is loud. The market has spoken. And the WNBA, it's got some serious soul-searching to do. Now we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are the Fever for real? Is Candace Parker being unfairly targeted? And what does the future look like when the league's biggest star isn't even allowed to shine? If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We're just getting started. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate every single one of you tuning in and supporting real, unfiltered sports commentary.